Welcome everybody, I'm Joshino, and today we're going to be doing a breakdown of Paladins OB63, codenamed Full Auto. Now don't worry folks, not every champion is going full auto, it's about the new champion, Vivianne, who has a light machine gun, basically a big full auto gun. And I've talked about her in a video already, so if you want to find out more about her, then check that one out, which will be linked here. But today I'm just diving into the other changes coming to the realm, and this time around it's pretty much heavy on the side of cosmetics, and changes to the systems of slightly cosmetics and also kind of affecting the grind a little bit, which I'll talk about. Whereas the actual balance in the realm this time around hasn't been touched an awful lot. But I'm going to dive straight into the balance as I think it's probably the most important as we go into each patch. Stepping up first is Androxus, a bit of a divisive figure here, as he's kind of annoying to play against and a lot of players aren't happy with the fact his damage got buffed and his movement got nerfed. The Darkstalker legendary card, a very popular card currently, has been nerfed. This had the damage bonus. It used to be 30% extra damage when an enemy was under 40% health, but that's gone to 20% now. That's going to bring him back a little bit in the extra damage he was able to do, although I mean, his DPS was just flatly increased quite a few patches ago, which a lot of people are a bit more uppity about. But that's one way of reining him in a little bit. The other change they've done is try to make another legendary card, Heads Will Roll, which is pretty much never used, a bit more accessible. So what they've done is it also increases clip size by 2, whilst also increasing the damage when you get headshots, which actually I think is rather interesting and might make it worth picking up, because it's going to give you a bit more sustained damage and DPS damage per second because of the fact you won't have to reload, you won't have that break between your firing. And that's on top of the fact that you get the extra bonus damage from the headshots. Now, how often you get headshots, it kind of depends. I mean, Paladins has quite big hitboxes, but the hitboxes are a bit random. Sometimes some champions have kind of heads that are harder to shoot at, like Fernando's you think it's higher than it is, and with Ruckus it's the Goblin, so they can be a little bit quirky to try and aim at, but it's actually a nice little touch there. I think it's a maybe an option now. It's a nice little buff for that. Genos got a slight nerf to their ultimate, Power Cosmium. Apparently it was doing 60 extra damage that they didn't mean to, which I don't think it'll change that much to be honest, but there we go, there's a little bit of a nerf to Genos there. So Talus has also got a kind of a rework. So Overcharge now basically has what Raging Demon had before, where it didn't consume ammo. So your Overcharge base doesn't consume any ammo, which is good. That means that base Talus is a bit stronger with their Overcharge. It was very awkward actually, I think, with the Overcharge where you were reloading between them. Partly because you could have that sustained DPS was why the Raging Demon was powerful. And to compensate for this, the duration has been reduced from 4 seconds to 3 seconds. Okay, so that's the downside. However, Raging Demon now increases the duration of Overcharge by 33%. So actually, Raging Demon hasn't really changed because 33%, I'm guessing it's recurring, so then you get the 1 second. So it's basically going to bring that to 4 seconds. So you basically have the old Raging Demon, but all of the other legendary cards are kind of better. Although not necessarily because you lose that second, but it's going to make it less quirky and a bit derpy. So Terminus, quite frankly, has been smashing skulls the last few patches, and their win rate is ridiculous over all skill levels. It's so high. Saharas have picked out a chisel here and are taking away some of those rocks. So first thing, Power Siphon, the initial energy cost increased from 15% to 20%. So one of the big things about Terminus was the fact you had the shield, you can't deplete it, you only have to wait for the time, and also you can bring it up to sort of block things, so you could block Makawa's first shot after hooking, things like that, like clutch. So it makes it a bit harder to do those clutch insta off and on sort of power siphons to maybe dodge one big projectile or something like that. So again, 15 to 20%. Reanimate, the ultimate, has also had its charge rate reduced by 15%. Another big nerf here to the Ulti Charge. It's quite a big thing. It's not just that big explosion. I think that's not going to catch that many people out. Often people are able to get away unless you time it just right when everyone's used all their movement abilities. But the big thing is that you can come back to life and you basically get fully healed. I think that's the bigger thing about the Reanimate. So that is actually quite a heavy nerf there. They also nerfed the legendary card Undying, reducing the damage threshold from 50 to 40%. So you also get less damage reduction from that card, and you can stack it a bit less, I guess. All in all, bringing Terminus in line with all the other champions. Will it be enough? We'll just have to see. I think there's probably going to be an element of people trying to deal with Terminus at the moment. He doesn't really have many natural counters apart from people just keeping away from him, trying to kite him, but you basically go for the movement speed and nimble and get nimble 3 and chase after people, so you can make up for it. All in all, those changes are all pretty positive. I think this one's not a bad patch, you know? It's not big changes here, but they're little nice bits. So there's some general changes to the game, bug fixes mainly. Apparently, there was a big bug where players that were qualifying for competitive games had the potential to match against players of higher rank. I don't know whether it's because of the thresholds, and because maybe there were a smaller pool of new players playing the competitive. Who knows? But there were a lot of images, especially on Reddit and Twitter, of people qualifying for matches and being put against masters and grandmasters. There was one, I think, where it was like Australian, and it was like Kangaroo Sports, a couple of their guys, versus some people that were just qualifying. So hopefully that'll be better. I mean, you kind of don't really want to put against, I guess, diamonds and above if you're qualifying, or maybe even platinums. There was also apparently an issue with Cauterize where the newest wins was in effect, even if it was small, or maybe it was having some weirdness dropping other Cauterize off. It's interesting because I hadn't really tested it out that much, and whether it'll be heavier hitting this time around, if that's true, as there's kind of a concern that Cauterize, with it being able to stack, would be so much better now. So we'll just have to see on that one. So there's a lot of changes to chests and how you get things this patch, and the problem with, I've always said, is with Paladins grind is that the Radiant chest is how you grind, which is, personally, not a great way to grind, although Hi-Rez have made a lot of steps to make the grind better than it was when it was first announced. It's not like the Star Wars Battlefront grind. I mean, nothing in the game is objectively better than other things, and if it is, then you usually get nerfed and things get changed around, like the legendary cards this time round get nerfed and buffed to try and match each other. When you mess with the Radiant chests, you do mess with the grind. So this time round, there's a downside of the fact that basically they've made it so that common and uncommon skins are no longer purchasable by gold. These are just sort of the recolors and stuff like that. And some people will not be happy about the freedom being taken away, but they're being put into the Radiant chest. But the problem comes where they've basically said that they've increased the drop chance of cosmetics in the Radiant chests. And this is where it's always been a clash for me, because people that are grinding want the XP, they want the cards, they want the legendary cards, whereas the people that have already ground out, they want the cosmetics from the Radiant chests. In some ways, I wish they would just separate the two and make like a free-to-play chest for grinding and a free-to-play chest for cosmetics. However, they said that they increased the drop chance, but they've also, with all the other skins as well, they're now dropping a full skin collection instead of a single weapon, a single part of clothing, stuff like that. So you actually get the full package of everything when you get the drop, which is positive, and I don't know the maths, that's the thing, because we don't know the exact maths, whether that makes it so that grind stuff is much more accessible. So I'm not entirely sure whether the grind has been made better here or worse, or maybe it's just stayed the same. But there's another interesting thing as well, because now it states that after 30 rolls you'll get a legendary card. And again, whether that was the case before, we don't really know. It could have been like something that's in the background. But at least you have, you know you're going to get a legendary card. You could get one before that, but if you don't get one for 30 rolls, you'll get a pity legendary card. So that's interesting. But what they've done basically is rolled the skins into now tiered chests. So instead, there's a gold chest and a diamond chest. So in the gold chest, there's rare epic cosmetics, flares, booster weapons, and can include duplicates, which is, oh, why Hi-Rez, why are you putting duplicates into a chest? And this one costs 75 crystals, which would be annoying if you did get duplicates for this one. So the next one is the diamond chest. The diamond chest has epic and legendary collections and mounts. So it's a full collection, just right off the bat, and it's 200 crystals. The only two downsides to this, I think, we can't see all of them, but the two scarlett chargers, they've recolored the scarlett charger to a blue, basically, as well, and there's two mounts in there, so you've got two duff things that you can get out of that. But, I mean, saying that, a lot of the other skins in there are awesome skins, and compared to other games that have a bit more random setup, this is better than I guess it was, that you get the full set. The other big thing that they've added that's a bit different is booster weapons. These are basically just golden weapons. And every single champion in the game has a golden weapon. They look pretty awesome. People are asking for golden weapons in the game, but for achievements in PvP, we haven't quite got that. These are interesting. So basically it increases your gold and XP gain, 100% to your character mastery, account 50%, just general XP, and gold 50%. However, what's really interesting about this is it also boosts 20% to all of these to other players on your team. So it actually has a decent effect of helping out other people that are playing. This could just generally increase the grind for everybody in the game, to be honest. The biggest and kind of crazy downside to this is it's 60 crystals for one weapon that works on one champion for 3 days. I mean, I don't think they've got the pricing right here. I mean, it'd be nice if people were using this, because you could stack it up to 80% extra on all of your stats if you've already got the boost, which is great. That'd be great. It'd be great for grinding for everybody else and make people feel good. It's not pay to win exactly, it's just a little boost here. But the pricing just seems a little bit silly. Another thing that they've changed, and this is to the grind itself, is they've changed the daily rewards. Now it stacks, so it basically just keeps rolling on. Each 7 days, you can basically buff your quests, and the quests themselves have also changed. So you used to have a weekly quest and also daily quests. Now they got rid of that, so it's only daily quests now. And the daily quests to begin with give less stuff, usually. So you either get small amounts of crystals, some gold, some VIP points, some radiant chests. And there's also a big daily quest. Basically, if you complete 40 daily quests or something big like that, and then you'll get a bigger reward. Now, they haven't showed off everything. It seems to be still in the works slightly. But basically, it's a percentage. So you get, after the first 7 days, you get 23%, 47% on 14 days, and 21 days, you get plus 71% on these daily rewards. So you get 71% more extra stuff that you're going to get through. So assuming that you get a crystal quest every day, which might not be the case. So for the first week, you get 28 crystals. The second week, you'll get 41 crystals a week. And the third week, you'll get 47 crystals, or 48-ish crystals, if you log in every day. Okay, so Hi-Rez have given some figures as to where they see it going and what they see the averages are going to be. It's hard to say exactly how much you have to grind for this and what their statistics are and how far into the grind these people are, these averages. So for daily logins, you get gold per week increase of 475 to 1,200, they say. Essence has been decreased from 1,750 to 1,050. The crystals are taken out of this, put in daily quests. Players get a radiant chest as a 7th day reward. But on the daily quests, this is a bit that's interesting. You get gold per week increase on average from 2,143 to 5,600. Again, how much you have to log in for that, we'll just have to see. Essence per week increase from average 1,286 to 3,500. And every 7 daily logins, the current rewards will increase by 25%. Potential crystals per month increase from 140 to 154. But that's with logging in every day. And that does sound about right on the 48 mark when you add on the extra few days in the month. But again, this is assuming that people are probably going to be logging in all the time. I'm not entirely sure how their values work. Maybe their values are based on somebody logging in every day. We'll just have to see on that one. What does everybody else think about that? That's quite an interesting topic. I mean, it has a potential to make the grind easier if you're committed to the game, and the thing is, Hi-Rez want people to be playing every day. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, because people that play a lot will be rewarded. And the thing is, even if you don't want to play every day, you can just log in, log out, and pick up that reward. I know that I used to play PlanetSide 2, and they used to have something similar, and a lot of people just log in for the reward, log out, just to make sure that they're on top of things. And it could be very good for those people that are really committed. So coming on to the cosmetics, let's go through my favourite ones first. So the first one is Dark Lord for Torvald. So everyone was wondering who this theme was for. There's a spoiler leaked out, and they actually had blue skin on that, so people were guessing Grok. But it's actually kind of like a Darth Vader version of Torvald here. Grandpa is now evil. It just basically looks like you're some sort of generic space villain based off of Darth Vader. So kind of, I guess, like Zurg from Toy Story. You've got sci-fi sort of projectiles and the pushing, and you have an evil voice. You're actually showing off your bald head and your ears a bit more, and have that sort of mask over your face, the breathing apparatus. That looks pretty cool, almost like, I guess, an Ultramarine from the Warhammer series. So this looks like some Star Wars attire from the new trilogy. And actually, in the background, it does kind of look like Tatooine in her concept art. But the cool thing is that her weapon, her crossbow, is almost like an ion cannon that Jawas use in Star Wars as well. She has these goggles on her head. And Ziggs also looks like an R-model droid from Star Wars 2. And it kind of gives a trail off, like a blue trail one, whilst it flies around you. I don't know whether that sort of gives away your position as a Cassie a bit. But it looks awesome. I think we've got to give it that. So I think, to be honest, everything about this skin is pretty epic. The goggles as well. I do wonder about the goggles why they aren't down, but I think it makes sense because sometimes you have a hat up there and stuff. So I guess maybe it's in the same hitbox area. That's why they've showed it off there. There's also HRX skins, so Ceres is getting a HRX skin. It looks ridiculous. His face is blue with the HRX 2018 symbol on her skirt. The Strix has got a pretty awesome one. He looks basically silver, I guess. Silver and blue and a bit black going on with the theme, the colours. And also the new champion, Vivianne, has got a skin in this HRX pack. And also Drogos, the blue Drogos. Yeah, he kind of looks almost like a jade statue there. So that's going to be pretty cool. The other big one is an Enforcer skin for Fernando. It actually changes Fernando completely. He doesn't really look that much like Fernando anymore, but it's got a big riot shield, and you've also got a taser. Like a taser, like your weapons just become a taser now, and you basically just look like someone from the SWAT. This is a pack called the Frontline Pack. You get 10,000 VIP points, 5 Frontline keys, and 5 rating chests. And also you can get the spray, which is a Frontline spray, where basically it shows how many victories you had as a Frontline, so you can be like, boys, I am the #1 Frontline here. I've won 1,000 games with Makoa. So that's pretty cool. So they've also added more chibis from the community artist, their name that I probably can't pronounce very well, Jaroslaw Kargel. Then they've got the Fernando, Willow, Drogos, Maeve, and Androxus. The other things that they've added this patch are some recolors to some of their skins. There's Renegade, which is a red version of Lexo. There's a Shaolin Crime Fighter. I think it's a recolor of one of the sort of like superhero skins. Can't remember exactly what they're called, but I guess it's just more options. Anyway, I'll definitely be doing some videos with some of the skins, especially the Cassie and the Torvald one, as they'll be epic to try out. So be sure to look around for that one, and I might do some more in-depth videos on some of the features coming. And what does everybody else think about the changes this time round? I know there's not that much controversial going on with the balancing changes. Actually, they're all right this time round and kind of make sense. So let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe for more of my content, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Joshino.